Immediate emergency relief were provided to aid fire-affected families in Malaysia. Tzu Chi Thailand chapter provides online medical consultation services to taxi drivers in need. Welcome to Diet Headlines. I'm Jo's host. Thank you for joining us. In Kelantan, Malaysia, a fire broke out early morning on November 17th in Kota Baru's residency area. The fire spread quickly due to wooden structured buildings and 8 houses were devoured. Tzu Chi volunteers arrived at the disaster site by noon to visit the affected families and initiated a relief distribution at 5 in the afternoon.
The village chief used social media and newspapers, hoping to spread awareness of the recent fire accident.
The fire started from my brother's house. It was very serious, and my house was the center of the community.
At the time, my son hadn't fallen asleep yet. He heard cries of help from other people, so he ran outside to look. He saw fire burning around, so he ran back upstairs to wake me up.
The fire started in the early morning, burned down 8 houses, as 38 residents are Malay. Luckily, no one was harmed. They are now in a nearby shelter as Tzu Chi volunteers arrive to evaluate the situation, establish a name list, and distribute the consolation money.
Thank you, Tzu Chi, for helping us affected residents with such kindness and passion. In December 2015, I remember Tzu Chi was here to help us during the flood, giving us supplies and cash. I'm really thankful to you.
As the homes were destroyed, volunteers arrived, acting as a supportive force for affected residents and calming their minds during their toughest moments.
Dharma Master Zheng Yan is at Xingdian Jingsi Ho, and Yang Jingshun, a long-term Tzu Chi care recipient, was among the visitors. He decided to donate most of his savings to Tzu Chi to assist children's education in remote areas due to spiritual inspiration by Master.
Yang Jinshun, who's still wrestling well, is 90 years old this year. He is from Shandong, China, and came to Taiwan with an army when he was 18 years old. He started a business with friends after retiring from the police, and that's also when he met Tzu Chi volunteers in the community.
I was a police officer. When I was a grassroots policeman, I learned that many poor people needed help, but at the time, I didn't have the opportunity to help others.
Therefore, Yang's wish is to use his savings to help the children in the remote areas and children who drop out of school.
Most of my savings are donated to Tzu Chi. Let the Master help me do some good deeds.
Because he believes in Tzu Chi's philosophy and trusts his savings to Tzu Chi to do meaningful things. There are a lot of volunteers who took a rare opportunity to share their case stories with the masters and volunteers. The Master blessing has also comforted the volunteers who are currently in trouble, and she hopes that the volunteers will continue to do good in the community and benefit the society.
In Miaoli Nanzhuang, a 100-year-old senior suffers from poor vision and mobility issues, yet she has to take care of a son with intellectual disabilities. Tzu Chi volunteers and Tima doctors regularly visit this family every month, providing emotional support and the much-needed assistances.
Relying on the wooden stick while walking, the senior here is 100 years old, yet she cannot rest well in her later years. On this day, volunteers and Tima doctors came back to visit the grandma. During the visit, volunteers saw grandma's 4th eldest son drunk on alcohol.
Grandma has to take care of multiple children alone. They have odd jobs only, therefore they don't have decent economic situations.
Alang suffers from minor intellectual disabilities, as he also had gout, which forced him to remove his left toe. Grandma is unable to take care of him. A year ago, the 3rd eldest son came back to help.
I went out for work very early, and now I'm back to take care of my mother.
Suffering from a minor stroke, the family relies on subsidies to live. Grandma has 11 children, yet only 5 are alive now. She lives in a poor environment with her right eye not being able to see, and she also has mobility issues.
The ceiling would leak, so we renovated it and changed up the water and electricity system. It's a safer place to live now.
The care for the grandma has been going on for 10 years, as both doctors Lin Yingchao and Ji Bangjie continue to visit her. Before treating the senior, the doctor will warm the stethoscope first. Even though the grandma only uses sign language, they can still understand.
I understand her sign language since I have seen it many times. She told me she feels itchiness around her body. She also said that she feels tired and it's tough taking care of her son.
Treating patients as close relatives isn't just a slogan, but actual practice. Some volunteers help organize her medicine, while the other help cut her hair. And because of the sincere help, the grandma can finally smile once more.
In her 50s and suffering from mild intellectual disability, Afang cannot work and had been staying at home with her mother for many years. 10 years ago, Afang started to go to Dongda recycling station to volunteer, and she's now very confident at recycling, sorting, and accepted at the station like family.
To remove the iron sheet on the L-shaped folder, you need to use 2 tools. The procedure is complicated, but 52 years old Afang isn't troubled. She suffers from the mild intellectual disability. 10 years ago, she followed her mother to Dongda recycling station.
She came here to do recycling. The more she did, the more lively she became.
In the beginning, she was not used to do it and didn't speak.
When she first came, she didn't interact with people. Now she will say, "Hello, everyone."
Dongda recycling station is like a big family, caring for each other. As time passed by, Afang opened her heart. Originally only staying in fixed area, now she will walk everywhere.
She does things seriously and attentively. She comes with her mother every day, and after she finishes her work, she also comes here to help.
The most gratifying thing about her daughter's transformation in the past 10 years is her mother.
Now there is no need to tell her the details of how to do every job. She will do it after she sees it.
The mother and daughter silently contribute to environmental protection, which is the most wonderful life.
Tzu Chi volunteers and team members from Yunlin, Taiwan regularly go on home visit trips to provide medical advices as well as emotional support for the patients and their family. Chinese medicine Dr. Hong Youdao says that patience and kindness are key to the patient's recovery.
第一条路线是市府北港台西，带往洪有道医师。
On a medical mission, TIMA members and volunteers of the Yunlin area visit Mr. Huang, who has had liver cirrhosis for the last 10 years, encouraging him to look at life through positive lenses.
We not only have to look at his physical symptoms, but also look into his mental health. If we care for him, then he'll be inspired to change his outlook.
Their suffering is mostly their illness, which makes them stuck inside their head. We hope our TIMA members and volunteers can visit them so these patients can be comforted that people care for him.
As a current staff of the Dalian Tzu Chi Hospital for the last 17 years, Liang Yuzhang always makes time for these medical missions despite her schedule.
To us, it's just a little of our time, but to some I think, our care is something they'll keep in their hearts for the month.
Using her expertise to help the needy for Jian Zhilin, she's knowing, counting, and spreading her blessings.
I work at a hospital, but this once-a-month medical mission has helped me learn lessons I can with my job.
These medical missions, which not only help the patients, but in return have become learning opportunities for the TIMA members and volunteers involved.
Starting in November, Thailand is opening its borders to vaccinated international travelers. This is a great help to taxi drivers in the tourism industry. Prior to the opening of the borders, Tzu Chi Thailand chapter provides online medical consultations to help them prepare for their business resumption.
My vision became a little blurry. It is hard to see things now. At the other end of this video call is taxi driver Boon Ler, who's discussing his medical conditions with the free clinic. In November, Thailand relaxed border restrictions and is starting to get on with life despite the pandemic. One has to pay attention and see clearly when driving a taxi. Early on, I thought my vision was getting blurry and wanted to go to an eye clinic. During the pandemic, Thai free clinics didn't stop as an internet-based treatment was started along with drug prescriptions.
The eye doctor later said Boonert must suffer from dry eye syndrome as some eye drops could be applied.
After using eye drops for 2 weeks, Boon Ler says that his condition has improved and he is now able to accept customers as he pledges to remember this compassion and help others. Before, I had the habit of saving a little money. Now I put it into the bamboo coin bank, at least 15 to 20 Thai baht every day. And if passengers give me a tip, I will also donate it.
Due to the pandemic, Thailand taxi drivers have been in economic difficulties for such a long time that some cannot pay rent and had to live in their car. Thailand city volunteers are supporting taxi drivers with food and livelihood materials in Bangkok and the surrounding areas.
In the past, I just drive around the hotels and there will be a lot of customers, but now there are none.
Before, I would make at least 500 to 600 Thai baht from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now there are no customers.
I can't make enough, so I needed to cut expenses, so I now live in my car.
These are just some of the troubles heard from the taxi drivers in the Bangkok area. Most have had a difficult time making ends meet since COVID began. The decrease in customers has really impacted their livelihood. Some are even simply out of a job. When Tzu Chi got word of the situation, they immediately began a relief plan working with the local taxi union to help out those in Bangkok and the surrounding areas.
This taxi driver relief campaign is to help more people. We work with the drivers' union and ask them to give us the name roster. We then check against their information and prepare distribution items.
In a drive-through manner, taxi drivers are able to pick up the Tzu Chi relief aid. Masks and a bamboo coin bank were also given to them in hopes they can pay the love forward.
So thankful for the Tzu Chi Foundation, as they can see taxi drivers are having a hard time right now.
During the distribution, we saw some drivers who were ill, such as those with cancer and kidney problems, and they still continue with their job. So we have put them on our emergency relief category to give them more help.
I have debt, living expenses, and medical bills to pay, so I need to continue working as a driver, even though I don't feel well.
Through a home visitation, Tzu Chi volunteers were able to give him more support, spiritually and financially, in hopes of reducing his burden in life.
Thank you so much. I've not received this type of help before. I'm happy and feel so loved.
As Tzu Chi volunteers can't bear to see the taxi drivers suffer, they hope this small aid relief and spiritual support can help them through the days, as all look forward to the days everything goes back to normal. Thailand has opened its borders for travelers once more on November 1st, with taxi drivers hoping this is the start of their recovery.
In Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Tzu Chi Clinic and Tzu Chi Refugee School have a Chinese class every Wednesday morning. Through these online courses, doctors and assistants from the free clinic, as well as teachers from the refugee school, can use Mandarin in their daily life.
Every Wednesday morning in the Kuala Lumpur Tzu Chi Clinic, it's the time to learn Chinese.
你喜欢你的工作吗？很好 ，OK。
我喜欢。
Writing down the pronunciation carefully, they are all assistants and doctors who do not speak Chinese in the clinic.
Yeah, like when the teacher teach us in Mandarin, so and then I done in English the meaning, so that I can catch up a bit quick.
What we learned today is 在, which is the meaning of at. So if the verb 在 be used in a sentence, then we will know what the word means and in which sentence we can use it.
Although online Chinese classes face the challenge of the internet speed, the students' enthusiasm for learning remains undiminished.
我 is their turn.
早安，我的名字是 Mary. My hometown is beside border of China. Most of our people can speak Mandarin, but I cannot speak. I want to learn for communication.
第5课，买东西，买东西 ，doing shopping。我去超市买东西。
The online teaching teacher is Yodazi, a former university lecturer, and she has also compiled Chinese textbooks for primary and secondary schools in Malaysia.
Teaching them long articles at the beginning will frighten them, and they may not be able to keep up with the progress.
这个妹妹这一段后来我也把它去掉，因为为什么呢？因为我觉得这一课课文她要学好多，光是学数目就学好久了。
我的出发点是希望
My starting point is to hope that after they learn it, they can immediately apply it to their daily lives.
搬家 you move your house.
Simple and easy to understand teaching makes learning Chinese interesting and can be used in daily life.
In the 30th Taiwan Excellence Awards, Dai Technology is one of the 210 companies that received awards this year. A newly designed vest for disaster relief missions was unveiled for the first time, as well as a washable protective coverall to reduce disposable medical waste.
This rewashable protective clothing is made of 100% PET bottles and has a 2-layer zipper designed to effectively block viruses, different from one-time use non-woven fabric.
We used a new filming technology on the surface of this protective clothing, so it can prevent bacteria, viruses, and even some mucus fluids from infiltrating.
Dai Technology also won the 30th Taiwan Excellence Award for its research and development of disaster prevention products. A vest with 19 pockets of different sizes, weighing about 100 grams, allows rescuers to pack lightly.
It can hold our personal toilet utensils or even instant noodles and books, pens, and even a personal blanket can be placed in the back pockets of the vest.
The travel backpack is also improved with 4 wheels, making it easier to tow. A total of 355 products were awarded this time, including medical equipment, smart machinery, and other works. See the creative strength of the country.
The pandemic has affected many employment workshops catering to the physically and mentally challenged. To fight for their survival, Yunlin's cleaning workshop began to sell natural detergents in addition to their regular work. Although many employees have their own disabilities, they especially cherish these job opportunities and try their best to achieve maximum personal growth.
We give them instructions to clean all the glass in this area today, and they will continue to do it without taking a break. We have to wash them because it's hot, and they may be doing it for too long. They have to go to wash their hands and drink water and take a rest. They are such a lovely group of people.
I'm going to front to help them rake up the leaves. They are all very good. I'm very happy at work every day.
怎么样才扫得干净啊？
来，你在装落叶的时候，你扫进去，然后扫把可以先放着，一只手扶垃圾袋。华宏，今天的工作照拍了没？那你要不要先拍一下？我们扫完了落叶是不是就掉下来？对啊。客户如果说你没有扫的时候怎么办？哦，给客户看照片，我们今天有工作。啊，可是树叶又掉下来了。没办法讲，哎，再帮他扫一扫。哦。
You have to be very careful in every step of work. They will follow this process every day, and then one day they will finally remember.
哎，小心脚边卖薄的嘿。
戴着口罩工作还好吗？
When we work with a mask, it will be humid and the mask will become wet with saliva.
嘉威他的园艺相关的知识就好。
Jia Wei has a good knowledge of gardening. He is more careful than other students. When he is doing the cutting, he'll look back to see if it is level, if there's something missing, or a protruding branch coming out. He will then go back to trim it.
漏掉了，凸一只出来，他会回头去修剪。
I like my work here. Yes, I like it. It's better to have a job, and it's boring without work.
来，你的脚边有泡泡。
This one is our main area, so it's relatively unaffected here, but we have a lot of places such as schools or public institutions, organized activities, and needs garbage cleaning and sorting services. This is all canceled because of the pandemic, so our business performance declined about 30 to 40%.
来，金伦，你说你现在在做什么？倒清洁剂。不用紧张，有漏斗不会洒出来。好，把它这样锁紧，对不对？对。
In fact, they are really well behaved. Although they have some inherent obstacles, they all know about it. In fact, they cherish job opportunities even more than others.
接下来彩信要做什么？
贴贴纸，把贴纸从中间。
你怎么可以贴得这么漂亮？
因为我喜欢手工的。
那华红呢？
发底啊。
加什么？
发底早香。
Take a look at Hua Hong. He's the biggest in the group, but he's also the shyest among us. After you get to know him, he will become very lively, cute and caring.
今天早上在学校那边工作的顺利吗？可以。它会很热吗？还好，早上还热。这一群孩子。
This group of workers are constantly improving. Although the current global pandemic is quite severe, I believe that as long as we work hard and do our duty, we can still overcome these difficulties and slowly make breakthroughs and growth.
November 25th is Teachers' Day in Indonesia. Students from Indonesia's Tzu Chi school prepared a celebration program to convey their heartfelt gratitude. Thank you for joining us and see you next time.